I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to work out more. I'm trying to be more consistent. If you're trying with health and fitness, today we're going to talk about why you might need to stop trying. Welcome back to the Begin Within Health Show. Thank you for being here. Thanks for helping to keep this show in the top 5% of all podcasts on the planet. You can help others to find it by rating and reviewing the show if you haven't done so already. Just take a few minutes, take a few seconds and rate the show in your podcast player, or even just drop a comment. That can help others as well. Let me know what you think of the episode. If anything comes to mind, even if you disagree with it, as I'm ranting away here today, feel free to drop it in the comments. I want to hear about it, and I'm happy to engage in a nice conversation with you. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks for supporting the show by watching and listening. Now let's dive into this one. I'm trying. We say this one all the time, and it sounds like a good thing, right? It sounds honest. It sounds like effort, but today I'm going to challenge that a little bit. It might be the trying that is actually the very thing that is keeping you stuck. It might be the reason things aren't changing, going the way that you want them to with health and fitness. It might be giving you an easy way out without even realizing it. And I came across this concept. I want to tell you about this. I was reading a book called Your Brain on Art: How the Arts Transform Us by Susan Magsamen and Ivy Ross. Really cool book, really interesting. You could check it out over on Amazon. Of course, you can get it anywhere where you get books, but I was reading it, and as you can imagine, this book is helping us to understand all the healthy ways that we benefit from the arts. Now, of course, the thing about the arts is, and it's highlighted in one section of this book, and it just made me stop and made me think, you know what? This is huge. This is a huge concept, especially when it comes to health and fitness. But the thing about the arts is, many people will say, I'm no good at it. I'm not good at it. Drawing, doodling. Yeah, that's fine. You say it's good for me, but I'm not good at it. And they say, well, it's good for you, so why don't you do it? And then people will say, okay, I'll try. Now, they address that in the book. And I thought, wow, this is so amazing. This is so true. And it made me think back to a saying I heard one time from an old wise person. Do or do not. There's no try, right? Something along those lines. Maybe you've heard something like that as well. But what's highlighted in that book, Your Brain on Art, is that when we say that phrase, I'll try, what we are doing, maybe without realizing it, but once I call it out, you're going to understand it. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, that is what I'm doing, is we are giving ourselves a way out. And so they recommended, don't say you're trying. Just the activity gives you the benefit. You don't have to be an expert at it. Just do it. And that when they highlighted that the try gives you a way out, it already implies that failure is a possibility. You're putting it out there, and it increases the likelihood then, of course, of not following through and taking action. So today, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the difference between trying and being, and why that shift changes everything when it comes to your health. And make sure that you listen all the way to the end, because I'm going to share one thing that is going to help you with this whole process. And it might be where your brain goes anyway, but hang on to the end. I'm going to share it with you. And of course, as I often remind you, we're going to talk about just one aspect, kind of the mindset of health and fitness today. It's just one piece of a much bigger process for you and for me. Health is nuanced, it's personal, and it's built over time. So please keep that in mind, right? We're not going to solve all of our problems here just today, but we are going to make sure that we're moving forward in a healthier direction. So let's start here. When we say I'm trying, right? I'm trying to work out, or hey, you know, great job ordering the salad today. Well, I'm trying, right? What does that actually mean? When you say I'm trying to work out, what you're really saying is I might do it or I might not. And since I'm trying, either one is okay. Right? It gives us wiggle room. It gives us the exit door. There's a built-in excuse, and most of the time we don't say I'm trying because we're really committed and we're determined to make it happen. We say it because we're protecting ourselves. Because if we fail, if we don't follow through, we can just say, well, meh, I was trying. No real loss, no identity hit. But here's the problem. If there's always an out, then there's rarely real change. Trying keeps you in this middle space, not fully in, not fully out. And if your brain picks up on that, it treats the new behavior as optional, right? Now, again, this is a brand new concept for me. So I'm sure as you listen to episodes, I've used the word trying. I'll probably use it some more in the future. And I honestly, I commend people. I encourage them. I give them a big old high five when they tell me that they're trying. I I don't mean for this to be like, yeah, don't try anymore, you know? But what I mean for it, it to be is just an opportunity for us to slow down, look at our mindset, look at the language that we're using because it definitely matters. It definitely has power. And when I was reading this book and they called it out, I was like, huh, so true. In my case, when it comes to the arts, big time. I got called out, I got exposed, right? Whew, that's me. So I think when it comes to health, fitness, nutrition, working out, all those things, it might be that we're overusing the word trying. What do you think? All right, let's flip it a little bit because instead of saying I'm trying to work out, let's focus on identity, which we have talked about here on the show before, and the idea of being, because that changes everything. So, what if instead of saying I'm trying to work out, you said I'm someone who works out? That's different, right? It's not an attempt. That's who you are. That's an identity. And identity doesn't negotiate the same way that just trying a behavior out does. If you're trying, you decide in the moment. If you're being, that's who you are. The decision's already made. We're going to do this. We're going to follow through. And that whole concept that I picked up on as I was reading that book, Your Brain on Art, oh man, it spoke to me. And I thought, I want to share this with you. I want to share this with you when it comes to your health and your fitness. It's not about what you intend to do, it's not about what you try to do. It is about what you consistently do, the action that you follow through on taking. When you act like someone who takes care of their body, even in small ways, your brain starts wiring that in as a part of you, part of who you are, part of your identity. And then you're not trying anymore. You're not forcing a behavior. You're reinforcing your identity. Trying is effort based, being is identity based. And in this journey, in this process, identity is way more powerful than just trying something on, seeing if it fits. Ah, it doesn't really fit me, so I'll just go back to being the way I was before, who I was before, who I still am. Uh, being willing to shift our identity, being willing to become a new version, a truly new version of ourselves is what is going to have the most power for us in this process. So I don't want to belabor this, but let's make it real. Let's talk about this in everyday life. A person who is trying to eat healthy might say, I'll see what's available, right? I'll do my best. I'll try to make a healthy choice. But someone who is a person who eats healthy says, this is what I do. It's not that they're perfect. It's not that they're rigid, but they're consistent. And so it's not about even what food is available, right? Make the healthiest choice you can make because that's what you do. And the same could be with movement, right? Someone could say, well, I'll try to work out, if I have time. But someone who is being a person who takes care of their health, right? Who works out, they said, I am someone who takes care of my body. See, there's a difference there, right? One negotiates, the other one aligns. And here's something really important. When you're in being, there's no failure. At least not the same way that there is with trying, because you're not chasing perfection. You're reinforcing your identity. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. You're not rigid. You're not always healthy all the time. You don't never miss a workout, right? So what if you are being a healthy person and you do miss a workout? You don't say, oh, I failed. I guess I'm not going to work out ever again. Internally, you might say something like, well, that's not like me. I'll get back to normal tomorrow, right? And normal is taking care of myself, working out. It's a completely different internal conversation. Now, before this starts to sound extreme, I want to make an important distinction here. Okay, I almost said an important extinction, but that doesn't make any sense, right? So, an important distinction here. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. All right, we have addressed that many, many times in some of the earliest episodes of this health show. We've talked about having an experimentation mindset. And the reason is that I believe experimenting is one of the healthiest things that you can do. Try different workout styles, test a different routine, see how your body responds to an earlier bedtime or a later bedtime or an earlier wake up time or a later wake up time. Different changes in nutrition, right? More fiber, more protein, less fiber, less protein. See how it feels. See how a new schedule works. Experiment. I believe that experimenting is one of the healthiest things that you can do. Test out a new workout style. Test a different routine in your life. See how your body responds to more sleep, an earlier bedtime, a later bedtime, an earlier wake up time, a later wake up time, different nutrition changes, a new schedule in some way or another. See how it feels. And then adapt. Use what you learn and move forward. That's not weakness. That's being more aware. That's learning about your body and what works for you right now. It's gathering data. But experimenting and trying are not the same thing. Trying is vague, it's non-committal. It leaves the exit door ajar in case you want to bail. But experimentation is intentional. When you experiment, you say something like this, I'm going to do this consistently for a set period of time and then evaluate. It's clarity, it's ownership. So instead of saying, I'm going to try to work out, you might say something like this: I'm experimenting with working out 3 days a week this month. And then at the end of the month, you just reflect on how it went, evaluate, use the information to make decisions and move forward. That's what being a healthy person is all about. Feel the difference? The trying, that's passive. Experimenting is purposeful. And experimenting still builds that identity. Because during the experiment, you're being the person who does the thing. The healthy person does the experiment. And often what starts out as an experiment becomes part of who you are. This is a huge shift, and it can feel uncomfortable at first. And it might be something that, you're like, Nate, I don't know. I'm not fully believing it. And that's okay with me. That's normal. Again, I'm sharing this concept that I believe the individuals who shared it with me through that book, they knew what they were talking about. But, stepping into a new identity, becoming a different version of yourself, it feels strange, unnatural. But none of us were born being that kind of person, right? We are shifting our identity as we go, as we try to improve our health. And we become that type of person through the repetition, through the consistency, through the experimentation. And it's not just by trying, right? But by deciding. Decide who you are and then act that way consistently. All right, at the beginning, I told you I was going to give you one shift in the scope of this conversation, trying versus being, that's going to help with this whole process. And if you've been paying attention, you could probably see where I'm headed already with it. It's something that I'm going to work on as well. But before I share that with you, if you're someone who wants to stop trying and actually take some real concrete steps forward, check out my 7-day program. Beginwithin.fit/7-day. You can learn about it there. Check it out. It would mean so much to me if you do that. No credit card required. It's a free program. Head over there and learn more. Now, here's the shift. As we're having this conversation, the shift is this. Start noticing when you use the word trying, especially when it comes to your health and fitness. Just start noticing it. When the word pops out of your mouth, I'm working on not saying that word anymore. I am being a healthy person. I'm becoming a healthy person. I'm the type of person that works out, right? Correct yourself when you say it. Catch yourself in the moment and shift from trying to being, because there's no trying. There's only acting in alignment or not. And the moment that you remove trying, at least from our mindset, maybe even from our vocabulary in health and fitness, when we remove that, well, then we remove the escape hatch. We don't leave the exit door ajar. We close it and we turn away from it. We lock it because we're going to continue to move forward, becoming a healthier version of ourselves. And of course, remember, this is your journey. It's personal. Notice what works for you. Adjust as needed. I'm just sharing my perspective here and the things I've learned from working with others. I hope that it helps you. I will talk with you again soon. Until then, keep taking good care of yourself.